Hello, P6 learners. I'm glad you have joined me for the lesson today, which is through this radio program. And this program is produced by REB with support from UNICEF. I'm Teacher Mary. I'm going to teach you social studies. Okay? So all P6 learners get all the necessary materials you're going to use for this lesson. Get a notebook, get a pen, and please come close to the radio, where you can listen to me very well. Okay, so can we review of what we learned in the last lesson? So in the last lesson, we learned about UN specialized agencies. And remember, we learned about UNICEF, we learned about UNESCO, we learned about World Food Program, and we also learned about USAID. And we looked at the functions for each particular agency. Come along and play with us. So today, we are going to learn about government organizations. We are going to learn about government organizations. And you can open on page 42 and 43 in your P6 SST textbook. You can open on page 42 and 43. So children, are you there on page 42? Okay. So we are going to first look at what is government. We need to understand what is government before we look at government organizations. What is government? They always talk about government's function, government's operations. So what is government? Okay? So we all need to know that government is a group of people who run the affairs of a country. Government is a group of people who run the affairs of a country. So government has organizations. It has organizations set up to help people meet their needs. So these organizations are called government organizations. They are called government organizations. They are owned and run by the government. But on the other hand, we also have other organizations that help people meet their needs. And we call them non-governmental organizations. So non-governmental organizations are independent organizations. And they are owned and run by private people. So government organizations are owned and run by the government, but non-government organizations are owned and run by private people. So NGOs, which are non-government organizations, are independent organizations. Okay? Hope children you get the difference between government organizations and non-governmental organizations. So remember, we said today we are going to look at government organizations. So what are the important government organizations that help people to meet their needs and wants? So some of the government organizations in our country which help people meet their needs and wants are: number one, REB. So REB in full is Rwanda Education Board. Have you heard of REB? Okay, so it is Rwanda Education Board. So this is one of the agencies of the Ministry of Education. And its mission is to fast-track educational development in Rwanda by enabling education sector growth. So the mission of REB is to track fast educational development in Rwanda by enabling education sector growth. So what about the vision of REB? What is its vision? The vision of REB is to improve the quality of education through curriculum development, setting quality standards, and also development and management of teachers. Then through assessment, they do study loans, bursaries, they promote the use of information and communication technology in education. The vision of REB, in short, it is to improve the quality of education. And they do so many things so as to improve the quality of education. They develop the curriculum. They set quality standards. They also manage teachers. They manage assessment. They also promote the use of information and technology. And also REB gives bursaries. They also help in the development and the management of the human resource, and which are the teachers. Okay? So I hope you've gotten the vision of REB. So what about its duties? What does REB do? What does it do? 1, it helps to determine the education policy. So REB always designs and also determines the education policy of the country. Okay? So 2, REB also, they design and they distribute the curriculum. They also distribute teaching materials and guides. That is point 2. And remember, we are looking at the duties of REB. Point 3, REB also helps to establish and monitor distant learning program. Okay? So they help to monitor the distance learning program. Point 4, REB also helps to promote the use of information technology in education. And here they design softwares. REB also helps to monitor, to make sure that information technology is being implemented in schools, and they also do assessment in schools so as to find out how IT is being implemented in schools. So the last point, which is point 5, REB helps to develop the capacity of teachers, and they also improve their management. Always REB organizes trainings for teachers. They make sure that the teachers are always updated on how they are able to deliver their lessons in schools. They also improve on the management and the leadership in schools. Point 5, which is the last point, REB helps to develop the capacity of teachers, and they also improve their management. REB always organizes trainings for teachers so as to get updated on how they are able to deliver their lessons in schools, and also to get updates on the new curriculum and on how they are able to conduct themselves as teachers. Okay, can we have a short break and we continue? Come along and play with us. Welcome back. So children, remember we are looking at the government organizations, and we looked at REB first. So we are going to look at Rwanda Revenue Authority, which is RRA. We are going to look at the vision of RRA, and we're also going to look at the mission of RRA, which is Rwanda Revenue Authority. So what is the vision of Rwanda Revenue Authority? The vision of Rwanda Revenue Authority, it is to become a world-class, efficient, and modern revenue agency, fully financing national needs. Can I repeat the vision of Rwanda Revenue Authority? It is to become a world-class, efficient, and modern revenue agency, fully financing national needs. Okay, let's look at the duties of Rwanda Revenue Authority. Let us look at its duties. 1, Rwanda Revenue Authority, they collect taxes. It is RRA which collects taxes from businesses, from people, and all institutions that have to pay taxes. Okay? So point 2, RRA assesses the taxes to be paid by individuals and companies. It assesses or calculates the taxes that have to be paid by individuals and companies. Point 3, RRA also, it helps in accounting for tax, customs, and other specified revenues. It accounts for taxes, customs, and other specified revenues. Point 4. The Rwanda Revenue Authority also advises the government on tax matters. So it is Rwanda Revenue Authority which advises the government on the tax matters, either to increase the taxes or to reduce the taxes. So it is the one that advises the government. So the next point, which is point 5, RRA also assists in taxpayers in understanding and meeting their tax obligation. So the taxpayers, sometimes they don't know sometimes the taxpayers don't know which kind of taxes they have to pay. They don't know their obligations. They don't know what the taxes are used for. But RRA assists in helping people understand the tax obligations. Okay? So we are going to look at another government organization, which is National Unity and Reconciliation Commission. National Unity and Reconciliation Commission, which is NURC. NURC. So NURC was created in March 1999. NURC was created in March 1999. Its objective was to promote unity and reconciliation among Rwandans. The objective of NURC was to promote unity and reconciliation among Rwandans. This followed the terrible effects of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. The people of Rwanda had suffered effects of poor governance, such as divisions, discrimination, human rights abuses, and violence. So, NURC was created so as to solve all those problems. And remember, NURC is National Unity and Reconciliation Commission. What are the functions of NURC? 1. It is to prepare national programs aimed at promoting unity and reconciliation. Okay? 2. It helps to establish and promote mechanisms for restoring and strengthening the unity and reconciliation of Rwandans. So it is NURC which helps to promote which kinds of methods to help people reconcile, to strengthen relationships among Rwandans. So NURC also helps to suggest things that can be done to end divisionism among Rwandans. So it is this commission that helps to come up with how to overcome divisionism among Rwandans. So the last point, which is point 4, NURC also helps to organize debates. They spread ideas. They publish material on promoting peace, unity, and reconciliation in Rwandans. NURC helps to organize debates. They organize debates in schools. They organize debates in different forums. And they also spread ideas. They publish materials on promoting peace and unity, reconciliation in Rwandans. Okay? Can we have a short break and we continue? Come along and play with us. Welcome back. So we are looking at the government organizations. So the other organization, which is number 4, is the Gender Monitoring Office. Gender Monitoring Office, which is GMO. So the Gender Monitoring Office's mission is to effectively monitor gender mainstreaming and fight against gender-based violence in public, private, civil society, religious institutions to achieve gender equality in Rwanda. So the Gender Monitoring Office, its mission majorly is to monitor gender mainstreaming. They always fight against gender-based violence. And also they do this in all private, public, civil society, and religious institutions. They do not base on only public institutions, but all institutions. And also they work towards achieving gender equality in Rwanda. So the objectives of Gender Monitoring Office: 1, it is to advocate for the respect of gender equality. So they always advocate for the respect of gender equality. Point 2, they monitor gender mainstreaming. They make sure that gender education is included in almost every aspect and every activity that is being done. So they make sure that gender is incorporated in school activities, in the curriculum, and they monitor if it is being implemented. Okay? Point 2, they also monitor and fight against gender-based violence. They make sure that people who stay in the country and in the community, they are not practicing gender-based violence. Okay? So they monitor and they also advocate for people to stop harassing people because of their gender. And they also train both men and women on how to handle and respect each other. So they fight gender-based violence. The next point, which is point 4, Gender Monitoring Office ensures respect for international gender commitments. So they make sure that all the international gender commitments are respected, and they follow up if the country is able to respect all the gender commitments which are on an international level. Okay, the last point, which is point 5, the GMO also maintains information on gender equality. So they make sure they spread out information on how people who are living in the community, they respect each other, and they also practice gender equality in schools and in different institutions. And they do that by training, by also spreading information, and when they get the information, they maintain it, and they support all the people in the community to get to know about gender equality. Okay, so we have looked at 4 particular government organizations. We looked at REB. We also looked at RRA, which is Rwanda Revenue Authority. We also looked at National Unity and Reconciliation Commission. And lastly, we looked at Gender Monitoring Office. Okay, so this brings me to an end of today's lesson. And thank you, children, for paying attention. And this has been your teacher, Mary. I hope you join me in the next lesson. Bye-bye.